Now, it has been noted that there is a small group of Christians out there, corrupt Christians on the internet, focusing a real hateful and deceitful propaganda campaign against Sheikh Ahmed Deedat, effectively a smear campaign against him and his work. Now, before I address their two chief claims, or their two main lies rather, let me just give you some context concerning Deedat, or background knowledge, so you know the relevant facts. Deedat was a famous Muslim debater who debated numerous Christians, and he became very popular and well-liked amongst the Muslim and non-Muslim communities all over the world, that is. Now, he passed on in 2005. Prior to his passing on, he had suffered a stroke and was paralyzed to the extent that he could not communicate via his mouth, but communicated effectively via his eyelids. Now, this was seen as a test from God, but indeed, Deedat had accomplished a great deal prior to his paralysis, but he even continued his work whilst being disabled and became a real inspiration to disabled people all around the world. Now, let's go on to the claims of these corrupt Christians on the internet. Their first claim is a complete fabrication, a complete lie, a complete fanciful claim. They must have real fertile imaginations to come up with this one. They claim that Deedat prayed to God to mute whoever was wrong in his debate with the evangelist named Anis Shorrosh. The whole debate was videoed. The whole debate was videoed. And yet there is no evidence of this claim whatsoever. So I'm going to dismiss it as a lie, and the only reason why they make this lie up is because their man lost. Anis Shorrosh lost the debate, and that's the reason why they are making it up. Now, once you analyze this, you could quite easily say Muslims could do the same. They could quite easily use the same deceptive methodologies and make stuff up about the opponents of Deedat. They could make stuff about Shorrosh. They could say quite easily, Shorrosh prayed and asked God to have the authorities to arrest the one who was wrong. Of course, after the debate, who was arrested? We know Shorrosh was arrested for suspected arson, I believe. Or the Muslims could pick on Jimmy Swaggart, the now infamous tele-evangelist Jimmy Swaggart. He was another opponent of Deedat in debate. The Muslims could quite easily lie about him and say he prayed to God to ask whoever was wrong to be publicly humiliated by a high-profile sex scandal. Of course, we know Deedat lived an upright, moral life and was never involved in any sex scandal, but of course, Jimmy Swaggart is now infamous for a sex scandal. Now, it would be absurd for Muslims to make these claims against Shorrosh and Swaggart, as there is no evidence for these claims. The Muslims would be lying if they made these claims against Shorrosh and Swaggart, just like these Christians are lying about Deedat. Now, in fact, I say God is honoring, I believe God is honoring Deedat and using Deedat even after passing on. I believe God is using Deedat to teach these Christians further truth and wisdom. You may say, how so? Well, these Christians are the very corrupt and arrogant Christians who are claiming to have the Holy Spirit in them, which they believe to be God, whilst claiming that Muslims are misguided. Whilst it's interesting to note, these Muslims, these quote-unquote misguided Muslims, are not lying about Deedat's opponents, whilst these Christians who claim to have God in them are lying about Deedat. Surely if they had anything of a holy substance in them, they would not be lying. So surely they do not have anything holy in them, and they need to readdress themselves, and they need to take this wisdom and truth on board. Whether they are blind to this wisdom and truth is down to them. Now, their second and last claim is that God was punishing Sheikh Ahmed Deedat by paralysis because Deedat spoke out against the Bible and the Trinity, etc., etc. Now, this claim is based on pure hatred and bigotry towards disabled people. What is wrong with disabled people? The Islamic belief concerning disabled people is that they are not sinners. They are not being punished for sin. This is a test for them. In fact, disabled people are viewed as equal to able-bodied people. What matters in the eyes of God is piety, fear of God and love of God, not able-bodied or disabled-bodied. These Christians are hurting the feelings of disabled people all around the world. They need to have a rethink and adopt this fine Islamic teaching. Now, just to pour further refutation upon their ill-advised claims concerning Deedat, what about the example of Hitler? Nobody views Hitler to be a man of good. Everybody views him to be a sinner. Why wasn't he not paralyzed or quote-unquote punished by God according to these Christians? Do they really believe God approved of Hitler? Surely not. And this actually debunks their stupid claim concerning Deedat. And what about innocent babies? Innocent babies being born with some sort of disability, blindness or whatever. Do these Christians really believe these innocent babies who have not even sinned are being quote-unquote punished by God? Surely not. Then why in the world are they adopting a double standard? So why can't they not face facts and just allow Deedat to be and just accept that he was not being punished? And what about the example of the followers of Jesus? The true followers of Jesus, the friends of Jesus, they were being oppressed and terrorized by the Romans during and after Jesus' stay on this planet. Do these Christians really believe these sincere Christians were being punished for their quote-unquote sins? And what about the example of John the Baptist? The belief regarding him is that he was imprisoned and later beheaded. Muslims respect John the Baptist and hold him to a high regard. These Christians, do they really believe John the Baptist was a sinner and was being punished by God? Surely not. And surely these Christians could adopt the Muslim belief and show John the Baptist great respect. And what about the son of Abraham, Isaac? He's believed to have gone blind in his later years. Yes, blind in his later years. Do these Christians really believe God was punishing Isaac? Do they really believe arrogantly that they are better than Isaac? I put it to you, no man on this planet, no woman on this planet, all of us put together are not better than Isaac. These Christians need to start respecting pious figures, and they need to adopt the Muslim view and Muslim courtesy of respecting pious people. And what about finishing off with the Gospel of Matthew 5:11? Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. This quote is attributed to Jesus. We all know Deedat believed in Jesus. He didn't believe him to be a God. Of course, Jesus never claimed to be God, so why should Deedat claim him to believe him to be God? Deedat believed him to be a prophet. This is a teaching from the Quran and also a teaching from the Gospel. So Deedat did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. He believed in Jesus. And these Christians have insulted him and persecuted him and said all kinds of false and evil against him. In fact, it appears to me that the Gospel of Matthew 5:11 is defending Deedat here. And I put it to you, Deedat is better than these Christians. He's better than these Christians.